Welcome to another Darren Keenan show. This is going to be a bit different because I did ask for any suggestions about what to talk about, and I got a response. And yeah, the comment I got was from, if I can get on the screen, is there you go, David Green 2801. Hi Darren, hope all is good. The Roswell UFO incident. What's your thoughts and that and the other incidents, such as the incident at Rendlesham Forest? All the best. Thank you, David, for that comment. I do appreciate your comments from the past videos. You've been with me for quite a while, and I do appreciate it. Like anyone who watches my videos, if you're not subscribed, give it a go, or follow or like, or just hit that like button. That will distribute it. Anyway, that's not what this is about. So, the past day or so, I've been looking more into this kind of stuff, and I do have very strong feelings about these. But first, I want to use a bit of AI. I've used Copilot on the laptop, and I did do a few searches which I've copied onto a document. So what I'll do is I'll call the document up on screen. Let's get it ready. I'm getting used to OBS quite a bit, so bear with me a few seconds. Okay, so I typed into Copilot, tell me about Roswell 1947 UFO, and it come up with all this stuff. So the Roswell UFO incident in 1947 began with a report of a flying disc crashed near Roswell, but was later explained by the US military as debris from a weather balloon. We all know about this Roswell stuff. We all know about it. If you're into this kind of stuff, you know. What happened in 1947? To discover the debris on July the 2nd. Rancher W. Mac Bazell found strange wreckage on his property after a storm. Okay. There you go. After a storm. I didn't know it was after a storm. The Roswell Army issued a press release claiming they had recovered a flying saucer. So at first, the military, boo, a flying saucer, no problems. It was retracted within 24 hours. Typical. The military changed its statement, saying Debbie was from a weather balloon. You never know, I don't know. I wasn't alive in 1947 to understand what weather balloons were used for, apart from the weather. Theories and conspiracies, extraterrestrial spacecraft. Many UFO enthusiasts believe that Debbie was from an alien craft, possibly with recovered bodies. Ooh, there you go. We've all seen the alien autopsy video, haven't we, where someone captured an alien from this, you know. Military cover-ups. Others argue it was part of Project Mogul, a secret program using high altitude balloons to detect Soviet nuclear tests. It was that era when they would do nuclear tests, weren't they? Kind of thing. Roswell now hosts an international UFO museum and research centre. That's nice. Legacy and declassified files. Later government support confirms that debris was linked to a project, but skeptics remain unconvinced. So it was the government had documents to prove it was Project Mogul. Pop culture. Roswell is now synonymous with UFO lore, appearing on film, TV shows, and even inspired celebrities like Dame Moore, who grew up in Roswell. Oh, okay. Didn't know that Dame Moore grew up in Roswell and believes something definitely happened. So yeah. So, as I said, I didn't know Dame Moore grew up in Roswell. You learn something new every day, you know what I mean? Tourism. Now I know. As you see, I've seen on TV and that kind of stuff. On other YouTubers' videos. The Roswell's full of UFO shops, full of this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, it's Crazy. Anyway, in short, Roswell 947 is less about what actually crashed and more about how secrecy, shifting explanations, the public imagination turned a desert town into an epicenter of UFO mythology. So that was when I've typed in "tell me about Roswell." Now I have typed in also Roswell conspiracy stories, which we'll get into. Okay. Now these are all copied from all the stuff was Copilot. I copied the information into Google Docs, kind of thing, so it makes it easier to go through, kind of thing. The Roswell 947 incident remains one of the most famous UFO conspiracy stories. I'll come up with my thoughts and stuff after this. I just want to do this to show that you can use AI in a good way, just for information and stuff. Here's a detailed look at the main stories and conspiracies that have kept Roswell alive in popular imagination for nearly 80 years. Yeah. God, it is 80 years in 2027, isn't it? Bloody hell. Jeez. Anyway, in July 1947, we discovered a strange debris. The Roswell Air Force initially announced they had recovered a flying disc. Yeah. So those are what I was mentioning earlier. Yeah. Major conspiracy theories. Alien spacecraft crash. Many believe the debris was from an extraterrestrial craft. Yeah. Government cover up. Yeah. Project Miracle. Official explanation. Reveals debris. Yeah. Reverse engineering claims. Some suggest any technology recovered at Roswell led to advanced in microchip laser and stealth aircraft. Now that I can believe. A 1995 film claimed the show tops was all released. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. And was it the film with Anton Deck? Who it was like the P take of it where they were trying to find someone to. But anyway, there was a film with Anton Deck. Two British funny kind of guys. Cultural impact also became an epicenter. Because documentary TV shows like The X-Files and Roswell. Yeah, the Roswell series, the original Roswell series is really good. The new one, don't know, didn't see much of that. But The X-Files, yeah. You see, this gave us more, The town now hosts an annual UFO festival and is home in Interstellar UFO Museum and Research Centre. As again, I did know Demi Moore. That's quite weird. The combination of initial military confusion, Cold War secrecy, and public fascination with heroes. Yeah, it is a breeding ground for conspiracy, isn't it? Roswell remains a symbol of mystery, distrust of authority, and possibility of extraterrestrial life. God. Anyway, I don't want to go into the next part just yet. But so far, it's quite fascinating. I mean, I just want to point out I have a massive, deep interest in this kind of stuff. I can't really explain why. I guess it's most people who research it and go look into this kind of stuff. I guess feel the same way. They don't understand why they're really deeply interested in this stuff. They're just going with the gut instinct, going with what the mind wants and stuff. It is unexplained. It's phenomenal. It's secrecy. I think it's a secret side of it's something that you really want to believe in. An example, I know this is not to do with UFOs and stuff as well. Going back many, many, many years, the first photo of the Loch Ness Monster. That photo, I'm not going to find it out. You've seen it. Looks like an arm coming out of water. For years, that started so much. I started so much conspiracy. It started so much, it's a bit like Bigfoot kind of thing, So the Loch Ness Monster is the best example I can give. because the person who took the photo originally passed away, and on the deathbed he said that it was fake. The photo was faked. He faked it all, and that one photo sparked all this conspiracies, all this stuff. I presume that one photo started it off, and millions and billions of people know what Loch Ness Monster is, and people go there to research and try and find the truth, just because of one photo of this guy. And he admitted it was fake when he died, and that must have knocked the wind out of a lot of sails. Must have knocked, thinking, oh my god, that's the kind of thing. If this Roswell thing was proven to be a massive hoax, if we knew it was a hoax, I'm not saying it is, then just imagine all the people, all the stuff, all the events, it would ruin businesses, it would ruin people's livelihoods. They've spent their life trying to research this. It would just ruin lots of lives. So keeping stuff like this in the limelight helps in a way. I don't know, it's strange to say, but yeah. Anyway, let's get on with the recording. By the way, you will hear noises in the background. This is a working community. I'm doing this on a week off, so it's not a peaceful environment, but I'm doing the best I can to keep the background noise the best I can. I am getting better equipment. I'm going to get the PodTrack P4 next, which you can AI noise reduction, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff, and but in the meantime, this is what you get. So I'm improving one episode at a time. Back to reality. Okay, so now we're going to go on to Rendlesham Forest. So this is another thing I only knew about a few years ago, watching a documentary. I didn't really know much about this one. So I typed into Copilot, tell me about Rendlesham Forest UFO. And here we go. Rendlesham Forest UFO, called Britain's Roswell, a mysterious series of events in December 1980 where US Air Force personnel reported strange lights and a possible UFO landing near RAF Woodbridge in Suffolk. Date 26-28th of December 1980. Rendlesham Forest, Suffolk, England, blah blah blah. Multiple USAF servicemen, including Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt and Technician Sergeant Jim Peniston, reported phenomenon. Strange lights, bright coloured lights, were seen moving through the forest. Some described them as resembling a spacecraft. Physical traces. Witnesses claimed to find detonations in the ground, scorch marks and trees, and elevated radiation readings at the site. There wasn't a nuclear site, anyway, a nuclear thingy, like close encounters. Peniston reported approaching a metallic craft, even sketching its triangular shape and official statement. If you've seen the documentaries on this, you know all about this already, but this is just for the people who haven't heard about it. Holt to record an observation tape describing lights that appeared to move and split in the sky. Explanations and theories. Extraterrestrial hypothesis. UFO advisors argue this was a genuine landing of a craft from beyond Earth. Skeptic views. Some suggest the lights were from Orford Ness Lighthouse, visible from the forest. Others point to bright stars, meteors, and aircraft lights as possible explanations. I'm sure the military people know the difference between bright stars, meteorites, and lighthouses. A lighthouse is near the sea, and is this near the sea? I don't know actually. Official investigation concludes there was no threat to national security, but they did not fully explain the sightings. Legacy. The incident remains one of the most famous UFO cases in the UK, inspiring documentaries, books, and ongoing debate. Yeah. It is compared to the Roswell incident, hence the nickname Britain's Roswell. Today, Rendlesham Forest even has a UFO trail visitors guiding them through the key locations of the event. Yeah, I just find it so fascinating, honestly. Honestly, I mean, hopefully this is interesting. I'm going to give my points and stuff after I've done all this. This is just, as I said, just to show off the AI a bit. Just not really show off, is it really? It's just like researching. I'm not good at researching, no. I'm not one of these people I just try and wing it. You know what I mean? So when I do the weird stuff, I just look at the headline, save the web page, and go back to it when I record, and it's the first time I read it, kind of thing. Yeah. There are more professional people than me, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's see what's the next one. And I typed in Rendlesham Forest conspiracies. So let's get back to this. Okay. The Rendlesham Forest UFO incident remains one of Britain's conspiracies about aliens, government corrupts, and psychological phenomena. Yeah, I read that bit already. Anyone how would it describe? Yeah, some claim UFO evidence was left behind. Scored. Yeah. Conspiracists believe that Ministry of Defence deliberately downplayed the incident to avoid public panic. Holt's official memo and audio recording suggest something extraordinary occurred, yet MOD concludes the event was of no defence significance. This fueled suspicion of a Roswell style. Yeah. Orford Nest Lighthouse. Skeptics argue the flashlights from the nearby lighthouse were mistaken for UFO. Yeah. Electromagnetic psychosis. A recent theory suggests that unusual electromagnetic activity triggered hallucinations among witnesses. These explanations aim to debunk the alien narrative, but many found them unsatisfied given the credible. Okay. Secret military tests. Some claim the lights were linked to cover-up weapons or aircraft experimental. Always a good and time travel dimension for them. Fringe theory suggests the forest was a hotspot for interdimensional activity. Fringe. I like that word. It's like the TV series Fringe. I just like that word. It's just something, I don't know, mysterious about it, I know what the fringe is, of course. And it's not the Edinburgh Fringe, Cold War espionage. A few argue the incident was staged to confuse or distract Soviet intelligence. I mean, the world has a habit of doing that. To cover up any news, anything major, that just another event happens to take your mind off it. That has been known to be effective. Why it endures. Multiple credible witnesses, physical traces, reports at the site, conflicting official accounts that leave room for speculation. The incident mystical status as British oil ensures it remains a magnet for conspiracy theories. Yeah, that's the only problem, isn't it? In short, the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident is a perfect storm for credible witnesses and fueling decades of conspiracy raging from alien landings to psychological. Oh, that bit here, I go. Darren, since you love weaving mysterious and sci-fi themes into your, this case could be brilliant for the podcast episode. Ooh. Would you like me to sketch or narrative or such? See, AI, podcasts are getting along a long way. They can actually create a podcast for me. As well. I didn't click yes on that one, That's crazy, isn't it? What AI can do. Yeah. Jeez. Anyway. It's a good title though. Britain's Roswell corrupts and a lighthouse and falls. A lighthouse that fooled the world. That's a good title, that is, isn't it? Come off it. You can't go far wrong with AI these days, can you? Anyway, maybe one day I'll create a video podcast or an audio podcast with AI just for the fun of it, because I could. No, I won't do that. No. I use it for this kind of stuff, for research and helping, but not really. So, okay. So before I go on to the next part, I've done some more searching on Copilot, and asked some more questions about UFOs and alien abductions. I'll get to that in a bit, okay? I'll get to that in a bit. Time skips hopefully will be below. Now let's give you my thought, grown up with these stories, well, especially Roswell. I mean, I've known about Roswell most of my life. I've known, knowing about the stories, conspiracies, and it's always been fascinating. It's always been intriguing. It's always been, I want to know more kind of thing, you know what I mean? Me personally, is it true or is it fake? I wish I could answer that. My gut feeling wants to believe it. My gut feeling is like, yeah, this will be amazing, you know what I mean? So I'm on the middle fence on that one. But when it comes to recovering alien beings and that kind of stuff, I mean, how are we to know what life is out there? How are we to know if the UAPs, aka UFOs, are from this planet? Are there species living under the oceans? Are there things? These kind of questions always go through your mind. No one can be 100% unless you work in that field and you know 100% if it's true or not. But for an average person like me, I would love for this to be true in a positive way, not a negative way, you know what I mean? We don't want World War III with aliens, you know what I mean? But I like the idea of it being a mystery. I like the conspiracy theories because some are damn crazy, aren't they? Some are damn crazy. But I've been listening to quite a few podcasts this week, and there's ones I want to delve into, as in find out more about. Not in this episode, but future episodes. I want to look more into remote viewing and that kind of stuff, because that is fascinating. That is beyond the science fiction to me, but if there's any truth in that, it is a crazy world. But I want to delve into that more, look into that. I really want to educate myself more on these kind of things, because, as I said earlier, I don't know why I'm so intrigued about this stuff. I don't know why I'm so drawn to it. When I was young, it was all Egypt stuff, hieroglyphics. That's all I could think of. Dinosaurs and hieroglyphics. Try to study it, try to learn about it. But I don't know why. I don't know what draws me to it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Anyway, let's go to the next part. So as I said, I did some more searching, and I tell me some other famous UFO incidents. Now, it does mention Roswell and Rendlesham Forest, like I've already talked about, so you know all about that. But there's always the Phoenix Lights, 1997 Arizona. Thousands of witnesses saw massively V-shaped formation. I've seen people talk about that, and it's interesting, but if you want me to delve into that more, let me know. There's this Cracksburg incident from 1965, Pennsylvania, USA. A fireball streaked across the sky and allegedly crashed into the woods. Witnesses describe a metallic acorn-shaped object. The military quickly removed it, fueling. Never heard that before. If you want me to look into that one, let me know. Never heard that one. Belgian UFO wave. Multiple sightings of large triangular aircraft with bright lights. Belgian Air Force jets were scrambled, but no craft was. The triangle-shaped craft. I don't know about this one either, but I've heard about the triangle-shaped craft, and they are Earth-made stuff, kind of thing. What I gather. Right, there's some more. Washington DC UFO flap, 1952 USA. Radar operators and pilots reported multiple UFOs over Capitol. The Air Force scrambled jets, but the objects vanished. The first major press conferences. Okay. Never heard of that one either. There you go. No, I'm not saying that word. Nova Scotia, 1967, 2 years before I was born. Saw a growing object crash into a harbour. Divers searched, not found no wreckage. Okay. Westall encounters. I've never heard of this one either. Over 200 students, teachers reported the source shed craft landing near their school before quickly. It remains one of Australia's most famous UFO cases. Okay. Never heard that one. If you want me to look into any of these, please let me know. I'm happy to. Why these cases stand out? Military personnel, pilots, or large groups. I also looked into another avenue of this where interests me a lot due to experiences which I've talked about in other things, but I'm not going to talk about this one. But let's talk about alien abductions, famous alien abduction stories. I typed this into Copilot, and this is what I got. Betty and Barney Hill, 1961, New Hampshire. Now, we all know about this one. First major alien abduction case in modern history. They was being taken, blah, blah, blah. They described medical examination of Betty and drew a star map. System was 39 light years away. Travis Walton, we all know about that. Found the Sky movie from years ago. Walton was no longer who disappeared for 5 days. It was a logger no longer. Walton was a logger who disappeared for 5 days. He claimed to have been taken aboard a craft and examined by beings. The story inspired the film Fire in the Sky. Blah, blah, blah. Mississippi, Mrs. Charles, I was going to say Dickens, and Charles Hickson and Calvert Parker reported being taken by robot-like aliens whilst fishing. They described being paralyzed, examined before being released. The case gained national attention and remains one of the most documented. Okay. The Berkshire UFO incident. Multiple witnesses reported strange lights and missing time. Some claimed abduction experiences made it one of the few mass abduction cases in US history. The 1976, 4 men on a camping trip reported being abducted after seeing a bright UFO. Under hypnosis, they record medical procedures and non-human beings. Okay. Why these stories stand out? A cultural impact. Many cases by books, films and documentaries. Conspiracies, well, skepticism versus belief. While skeptics argue these are psychological phenomena, believers see them as evidence of extraterrestrial contact. These stories are not just eerie tales, they're shaped how we imagine alien encounters. Don't give your interest on mysteries. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Wow, this AI is quite interesting. Compare the Barney Hill with Walton and wow. It's crazy AI, crazy. And then I typed in, is there solid proof of aliens or UFOs? Short answer. No, there is no solid scientific proof that aliens or UFOs, often called UAPs, exist or have visited Earth. what we have are intriguing signals, explain sightings and ongoing research, but nothing that meets the largest standards of scientific evidence. What scientists say. Exoplanets and possibility of life. Astronomers have discovered over 5,000 exoplanets, many in their habitat zone. This makes alien life plausible but not proven. Researchers are developing methods to detect signs of advanced civilizations. That'd be interesting. Chemicals, energy patterns. To claim alien life, scientists require extraordinary proof, strong signals, satisfactory certainty. Identify 5 sigma independent verification. None of the UFO reports meet these standards. Government reports. US and other governments have acknowledged UAPs, objects seen in the sky, that defy easy explanation. However, acknowledgement of unidentified does not equally proof of extraterrestrial origin. Yeah. Films like Age Disclosure argues aliens have visited Earth, citing interviews with officials that claims are controversial and not backed by peer. So, okay, skepticism. Many UFO sightings are explained as misidentified aircraft, atmospheric phenomenon, or even social media fueled. Yeah. Why proof is so hard? That's a good question. Distance and scale. The universe is vast, making direct contact or observation estimately difficult. Verification, even if usually signals are detected, scientists will rule out natural human-made causes. Yeah. As Carl Sagan famously said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Right now, the evidence is intriguing but not extraordinary. There is no conclusive proof of alien UFOs. What exists are unexplained phenomena, ongoing scientific search for techniques, blah blah blah. Waiting for evidence can be, yeah. You don't want to sit and be reading all this. You can read it yourself, can't you? Oh, there you go. You can do more stuff for the podcast. The final part is, what does AI think of UFOs? I thought, well, you know what? I've been bombarding Copilot with all these questions. Let's ask it. AI doesn't have personal opinions, don't you? But researchers are increasingly using the study UFO to speculate about aliens. Many scientists argue that if extraterrestrial civilization exists, they may rely heavily on AI or even AI themselves. Okay. Yes, that UFO videos, pixel detect anomalies, inspired by methods used in dark matter research. Okay, that's good. AI-powered observations are being built to monitor the skies, aiming to bring transparency to UFOs. That's good. NASA reports. AI tools are now part of the official investigation into unidentified aerial phenomena, giving the topic more scientific credibility. I can understand that. Some astrophysics like Avi Loeb and Martin Rees suggest that extraterrestrial life might actually be advanced AI programs rather than biological beings. Long distance space travel is extremely difficult for organic life, but AI could survive and adapt more easily. That's why some scientists believe most advanced. Okay. Oh, God, the code goes on and on. Okay, AI as a tool, it's helping humans sift through massive amounts of data, yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's not the question I asked. So, yeah, let's go back to me. Okay, so that's all the reading over with. I know it's took over half an hour, but hey ho. So, let's get to the main part. Okay. I wish I could work for the government and there's some kind of research. I wish I could be a part of something, even if I have to keep stuff secret. I'd love to be able to do that kind of thing and learn a lot more. So yeah, crazy times we live in. Over the past few decades, there's been quite a few documentaries. We've had the governments doing the what do you call it? Chatting to these people, whistleblowers and stuff, and having conferences and stuff. We were getting closer to more people believe this kind of stuff, more disclosure kind of things. You know, there's lots changed over the years. From when I was little, people laughing at you, to now believing you, kind of thing. You know, it's a crazy world we live in. So I don't know what else to say really. I mean, as I hope somehow this has answered your question, and I've done the best I can to look into this kind of thing, give you my view on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Again, it's like it's built into me that I need to look into this. I want to learn more. I want to learn all this kind of stuff. I would like to go to these places and look at these places and research and do podcasts and interview people. I'd love to educate myself more into this kind of stuff. I really would. But on the field rather than sitting in my room. I'd love the opportunity to go to Rendlesham Forest. I'd love the opportunity to go to Roswell. But I know that won't happen. But yeah, well, Roswell anyway. I'm in UK, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a distance. I'm not rich enough to do that. But yeah, I would love to collab with people and interview people, even if it's just podcast interview. You know, I would love to chat to people, whether it's online podcast or like not in person, you know. I just feel so passionate about this, but I don't know why. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I said I've had experiences, but not for this video, not this podcast. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Next week it could be back to weird news, or if you've got any other suggestions, if you want me to look into more of those cases I don't know about, let me know and I'll do the best I can. I'm not an expert at doing research, but I'll give it a go. It might mean me discarding a few other things like vlogs for a few days or that kind of stuff. But if you want me to, I'll give it a go. If you watch this far, it's 40 minutes into it nearly. Thank you so much. It's the longest podcast I've done, but it feels worth it and it feels positive that I've done this. And yeah. Anyway, peeps, that's it for this one. As always, catch you next time. Don't forget, let's subscribe, like, comment, share. Likes are very welcome because it tells the algorithm that I'm doing a good job. Okay, toodle pips.